What I love about the classes that I'm teaching on emerging adulthood is that we do have a lot of students that self-identify as emerging adults. What's so interesting, though, is that I'm getting more and more students that are much older than the emerging adult range saying, I want to understand emerging adults. So we're just finding that this is a really interesting topic. It's a huge one in the church, in the Western church today in particular. First of all, a lot of my study focuses on emerging adults' spirituality and spiritual struggle. And one of my findings, which I find really interesting, is that emerging adults will say things like this. Intellectually, there's a dissonance I feel between what I've learned growing up in my church context and what I'm learning in my anthropology course, or my psychology course, or my sociology course. And what they typically say to me is, and that's okay. I know there's a dissonance there, and there is going to be a way that eventually I'm going to work towards synthesizing those things. I feel the dissonance. It doesn't feel great, but that's okay. But they say to me this. They say, that's not what I'm worried about. So as a good researcher, I say, well, tell me what you're worried about. And they said, this is what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about believing and thinking different things. What I'm worried about is upsetting my mom. What I'm worried about is letting my youth pastor down. What I'm worried about is ending up on the church prayer list. And let's be honest, nobody likes ending up on the church prayer list, right? They have intellectual dissonance, but they're worried about the relational fallout. So if that's the case, we begin to realize that this idea of spirituality and spiritual struggle has this intellectual, emotional, and relational component to it. Typically, we do things like, oh, you're struggling, here's a book, right? Intellectual. We want to give more information to a person rather than kind of say to them, no matter how you think, no matter how you feel, as a community, as a mentor, as a parent, we are with you. We will journey with you. Nothing changes the relationship because we are there for you. That is good news to an emerging adult that often hears in churches today, why have you left us? Do you hear the insult to injury that happens? I think if we can have a different understanding of emerging adulthood, once again, emerging adults can look to faith communities and say, there's good news there. That's really, really important to me.